Thanks for joining us at STTTREAM.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So I'm going to get right into it. Today, we really want to be able to learn more about you, your company, the history, where you've come from, and your company's offerings that you have for both clients, right? The actual company and also the drivers out there looking for jobs. So I'll hand it over to you. Tell me a little bit about your company, the history, where you've personally came from, and where you want to go in the future.
Well, Rig on Wheels, Broker and Recruitment Services. This actually is our 14th year. We just celebrated it last month in January. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So we started in Chicago. We recruit for all lower 48. But I started as the only sole recruiter, and now we have numerous recruiters remote. We are third party truck driver recruiters. Okay, so we are partnered with small, mega, and mid sized trucking companies with their marketing department to get qualified drivers, their ideal drivers, to become truck drivers at their companies, right? We want the drivers to go to the companies, their ideal companies. It doesn't have to be their last stop, but definitely their next stop where they actually want to go the next part of their career, right?
Yep. So you were telling me a little bit about like how earlier before we started the podcast about, how you figured out that you loved what you do, and a little bit of a funny story around, how you get your truck drivers to work with you. So you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I at first I just thought I liked it, right? I'm like, okay, I like this industry, but then one time I thought I was gonna leave it and go do something else because I've always been in sales. And then I got sad. And when you get sad, you're like, okay, wait a minute. I think I love it. So that's when you determine you love something, then you just go gun ho. So that's when I just put everything I had into it, and it became it spoke to me differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I started listening to the drivers differently, started understanding things differently. Just listened with a different ear at that point when you see the love in it.
Absolutely makes sense. So
Mhm.
tell me, if I'm a company looking for your services, and I'm a smaller company, maybe, not some big company out there, what would you be able to offer me in terms of services?
Well, when we talk about a small company, and just as today when I had a consultation with a smaller company, I always tell the smaller company, your competition is not the next smaller company. Your competition is going to be your larger companies. Is always your larger company because your shippers are comparing you to the larger companies. Your colleagues, the other people that you hire in the office, the drivers are going to compare you to the larger companies. Nobody is going to compare you to the mom and pops that are on the same road as your office or as your terminal or the truck parking. Um, so that is what you look at. Um, so what I try to mimic, whether it be a service that I have or one that I suggest or advise for you, is let's mimic what the megas are doing. Okay,
Advice.
that's the first thing. So let's talk about what I can offer.
Mm-hmm.
It's third party truck driver recruiting. So whether it is you have internal recruiters already, and we partner with your internal recruiters to help bring in qualified drivers for them to process applications or leads for applications. And depending on what all you need help with, we are actually help get the front and back of the CDL, the mayor card, things like that. Help obtain signatures for like that. Also, we have recently launched. We have over 30 shows now. The Rig on Wheel show.
Yep.
So that is almost like a 30-minute, if you want just 30 minutes or an hour commercial where it highlights you and your company. Okay. So it talks about the recruiting needs that you have and in need. Also partner with BCB Live where we can do safety shows. So you can literally talk to your drivers and drivers that you're trying to attract about your safety needs.
Okay.
So you're talking to your shippers and shippers that you're trying to attract as well when we talk about that. And then I have Rig on Wheels has a in-house marketing team. So whether your marketing team just need help and support,
Hmm.
or whether you do not have a marketing team,
Okay.
and we can be that marketing team for you. So we can help in that sense. Now, when we talk about some other things that megas have, is the other back office needs. So 10th Street, the Intella app, 10th Street is an IT company that is niched in trucking, right?
Hmm.
So I don't get any kickback or anything to them. Hint, hint, I need to, right? But I really enjoy the fact that the trucking companies can utilize their services for back office support, compliance, and things like that.
Yeah.
And it really can help the HR, can help one man shows or two man shows to be a complete team to mimic or utilize as blueprints as if they are a larger company.
Good advice. Okay. And so what I'm hearing is you do everything full life cycle from start to finish with recruiting, from marketing and employment branding all the way through to different types of recruitment services, which include what we may call contingent staffing, where you get a certain percentage for hiring the person with in conjunction with their recruiting team, all the way to possibly being part of their HR team if they don't have a recruiter and doing a mini RPO type solution.
Yeah, so instead of the continuous staffing, what we do is hire once they pull a load, then that's when the invoice is paid. So it's a
Got
little bit different than the regular logistics. The driver hire is just a little bit different than other logistics hires.
it. Okay,
Driver
that's cool.
hire. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now, flipping to your other clients, which are your drivers, your candidates, what
Mm-hmm.
do you do for them? What sets you apart from some of the other recruitment firms out there? And what advice could you give to them going into 2024 if they're looking for a new opportunity?
Mentorship. So I am a part of personally different association, one being African American Women in Trucking. So what we try to do is mentorship for the drivers, not just to stay at that particular carrier, which is very important, but to stay in the industry. So certain skills that are taught not at the truck driving school, because that is how do you drive. But this is actually how do you stay and survive on the road. So
Good.
those type of things. The podcast show has a lot of those same skills and to talk about those things. How do we survive in this winter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shocking things, even as a tenured driver, if you hadn't ever had to deal with certain weather, because we have different weather that's happening in different parts of the country that has not happened before. And if that's a shock. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you've been driving 5 years. If you haven't run into that, that's a lot to handle. And
Yeah.
this
Like even the stuff that's going on in California right now with all the rain, right? And the mudslides and stuff like that, they can come to you for some help and advice.
yes. And so with us writing the blogs, us the podcast, and our blogs, they don't have to actually read the blogs because they're in the truck all day,
Yeah.
right? And when they get out of the truck or they stop driving, they may not who wants to actually read? Some people are not readers like that, but who wants to? They can actually listen to the blog. All they have to do is press play. The podcast, all they have to do is press play. I would love
Nice.
them to watch it, but what if they don't want to, right? Or they don't have the opportunity? They just press play. So it's the same thing with the blog. So
Perfect.
anything within Rig on Wheels that you read, you press play, and it's an audio version as well.
And do they have to subscribe to get access, or is it free, or how does it work
It's
for them?
free.
It's free.
So I would love for them to subscribe to the blog, but if they just go directly to the Rig on Wheels site,
Hmm.
we have the on-demand podcast shows as well as the blogs.
Okay, great. And then what would you tell them, truckers for this year looking for a new opportunity? What should they be doing if they want to switch companies or look for another opportunity?
First of all, give us a call at 281-968-3100. But what we want to know all the time is why now? Not just why, but why now? What is the importance of now? We all need to think about that, because if we say, oh, we need more money, but why now?
Right.
Because we
Yeah.
needed more money last month. I know I did, right? But
Right.
why is it now we're making this call? What is the urgency for now? So whatever is going on, that's what it is for me, Christina, is why. What
Yeah.
is the importance for now?
And that helps because it helps you understand what the motivation is and helps you, match them to a better opportunity.
Yes. And then
Okay.
we always want to talk about, and we talk about this on the show all the time, professional drivers. So no one is looking for a driver anymore. Those days are gone. Thanks to COVID, good and bad, I'm kind of excited about it because it brings respectability back in the industry that I love so much, and I'm very passionate about it. I scream it to the mountaintops. But it's the professionalism.
Hmm.
No one just wants a driver. Drivers are not what anyone is looking for. They're looking for the professional driver, the one that can communicate.
Yeah, and they can put in front of their customers and kind of play a little bit of an account management role and a driving role.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you help with that. Can you help mentor and kind of help them with their resumes and maybe some prep and things like that to better present themselves, since, a lot of times they're in a truck all day long. They don't have time to be thinking about that necessarily.
Yeah, we always want to refine our skills,
Hmm.
right? So any position that we have, we always want to refine our skills. So a truck driver needs to think about being a professional truck driver, just like dispatchers have to continue to refine their skills, right? The account manager has to continue to refine their skills. The VP has to continue to refine their skills. The
Hmm.
carrier sales have to continue to refine their skills. But the professional truck driver tends to be the one that is in contact with the shipper the most. So it's very important to have the best person in the company to represent, and it's going to be your truck driver.
Great. Okay, great perspective. Thank you. All right, last question I have for you today
Mhm.
is, with all of the different technology that's coming out, specifically around AI,
Mhm.
where do you think that's going to help or hurt truck driver recruitment going into the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to help. I think it's going to evolutionize, right? It's going to help us bring the best personalities. It's going to help refine and streamline everything. I'm all about technology. Uh, so I think it's going to help, and I think it's going to streamline the ones that's not willing to move with time.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Do you have anything else you want to share with us before we end today?
I think what I want to say the most is things are changing. I love it. And I think we need to all just keep an open mind. keep an open mind, stay learned, and be ready to move with the times. Enjoy
Agreed.
too.
I agree. All right. Well, thank you for being on the show today. Really appreciate your insight, your time. And anybody who's listening, make sure you reach out to Kameel, Rigs on Wheels, and watch the or listen to the blog and watch the podcasts if you can.
Thank you.
Thanks.